everyone, welcome to day 4 of the Baha'i Fast live meditation series. So glad to have you with us again on day 4. I'm super excited to have today's chat because this morning I woke up with a lot of thoughts that I wanted to share, and I've decided that if I can't stay within the 15-minute limit that I imposed on myself, I will be detached from it. So yeah, I'll hopefully put a timestamp when the meditation actually begins, if that's really all that you want to listen to. But there were several things that I wanted to share when it comes to this morning when I was meditating. The group of people who would like to fast and are not able to fast came to mind. And these people are very close to my heart, and because when I think about the past 3 years, like that I haven't the past 3 fasts I haven't actually been able to fast like properly because I was on medication and things like that. And being someone who absolutely loves the fast and really strives to actually maintain the same spiritual state of the fast throughout the year, to actually come to the point of time when the fast arrives, or for one reason or another you're not able to fast, or it's actually within the law of exemptions that you don't do it, somehow you feel deprived spiritually if you're not physically fasting. And to these people, I would just like to share a few words from past experience. One thing that I think that we really ought to do during the fast is to cleanse ourselves of all things unworthy of the soul, the station of the soul. Right? And for me, in my case, not fasting is worse, way worse than fasting. To someone who's spiritually seeking, like, this is death. This is the worst. To be deprived of it, it's like there's a lot of self-judgment, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anger. Essentially not accepting your state, not accepting the current reality that you're in, whatever that may be. And so what I would like to share is that there is also things that people who think like that need to work on, which is compassion to the self, acceptance of the circumstance. And rather than the fast being something, a physical fast that you're thinking of abstaining from food and drink from sunrise to sunset, what you're really cleansing yourself of is the inability to fast. Because having an attachment to fasting is still an attachment of one kind, right? So for us to really be mindful that it really is not about just the physical fast, and we know this, right? However, there isn't really anyone out there in our surroundings that sometimes kind of like shepherd us, yo, what you're thinking is like way too harsh, like calm down, right? Because people can't hear our thoughts. I can hear my own thoughts very well. So I know what a narrative like that can be, and it is very disturbing. And now as a meditation teacher, when I'm sharing this with people, I will say, give me the whip. Give me the stick. No more of this nonsense. Okay? Go say a prayer, forgive yourself, ask for forgiveness, and know that there are laws specifically that help to protect us in this way so that we do not go beyond moderation, right? So like when it comes to healing work or people who become sick, to fast even though you're sick is an act of violence to the body. This is not pleasing to God to do this. And so many people might still do it anyways, thinking that it will make them more spiritual, even when there are laws guiding you not to. So be gentle with yourself. If you're unable to fast for whatever reason and you really would like to join in on the festivities, do not think yourself lesser than others if you're not able to. If other people project that onto you, let it fall off. And so yeah, that was just something I thought was because I had thought of this group of people this morning, perhaps someone out there might be comforted by this. Of course, I'm not authoritative figure when it comes to the Baha'i writings. No one is. But I thought that some sort of contextualization, monitoring, policing, I would say, of emotions gone astray needed to be made. Okay, so if you're joining us live, please let us know where you're from, say hi, and share where in the world you are, and maybe even like how many years you've been fasting. Oh, there was something also super interesting that I wanted to share today. I wanted to actually ask everyone, I thought this would be a fun exercise to do, is to go back and see the date of your birth, which is a year, a 19-year cycle of a Vahid, which means unity. This is like a Baha'i year is also 19 years. Is to go on the Baha'i calendar and go see what is the name of the year that you were born in. What was the name, the spiritual name of God that you were born in? The year, the month, the day, and the weekday. So there's four spiritual virtues. And something that I found particularly interesting for my birthday was how I noticed that these qualities that were the virtues of God that were given on that quality are very much distinctly qualities that I am naturally do well in relative to the others. So I thought this would be really wonderful, and I would actually really love to hear what your 4 virtues of God are. Because in yoga and in the Baha'i faith, we always say that we were born naturally with certain spiritual characteristics, and we are, in the Baha'i writings, it says we are made in the likeness of God. So when you think about your birth date, and each of the year, the month, the day, the weekday, all has this spiritual quality, that kind of also gives you a little bit of a sign of what it's not random. I don't think any birth is random, like the stars with astrology. So many of the Chinese systems, like the I Ching, is all based on numerology, like the date of your birth, where the stars aligned with that, where everything was in relation. So I don't think it's a small thing for you to check out these 4 qualities. And so as an example, I wanted to share mine. So this is where I actually would love to ask anyone's assistance who is listening to this, to write in the comments below how other people can actually find their year. Because back calculating 19 years, I don't actually even know what the virtue of this year is. But someone once calculated for me what the year of my birth was, which was Javab, which is answer. So the year that I was born in was Answer. The month that I was born in is Jamál, perfection. The day that I was born in was ʻIdál, might. And the weekday, which happens to also be today, is justice. So when I thought of like, oh, that's the third day of the Baha'i fast, and Wednesday, it happens to land on the third day of the week, and ʻIdál is justice. So this is something that I think when I think of answers, perfection, might, and justice. These are very much themes of my life. I'm put in a position as a meditation teacher to provide answers, to be asked questions, and to be providing answers. This is where I'm going with this. This is how I interpret this. And then with perfection, I would say that striving for perfection is definitely a theme in my life. Constantly the striving, action, the struggle, which I mentioned in yesterday's Baha'i Fast live meditation. And the third is that might. This is one that I might be like, I don't know about that. But I would say that sometimes I can evoke this quality in myself when needed. And the third, by far, the weekday, is one that I identify with a lot, justice, ʻIdál. And so justice is literally my last name as well. Harbin means seer of truth or seer of justice. And so justice is like a huge theme around my life. Like anything in my life primarily revolves around justice. I'm always seeing things through the eyes of justice. And it's a pretty big theme in the Baha'i writings. It's the second hidden word. And so the best beloved of all things in my sight is justice. That's how the quote starts. And so I thought today, since it is justice, that's one of our qualities actually for today. So for the three qualities that we're working with today, we have the day, which is Jamál, beauty. It's the third day of the 19 days of the month. The weekday is ʻIdál, justice, and it is the third day of the week. And then we have the month, ʻAlá'علاء, loftiness, which is going to be a theme throughout. And so I received a comment recently. Since yesterday I was asking everyone if you would like me to share a little bit about numerology. And so today our numbers are the third day of the 19th, 19 days, and the third day of 7-day weekday, and ʻAlá'علاء, which is the 19th month of the 19th year. Sorry, the 19th, month of 1 year, essentially, which is 19 months. So briefly, 3, I talk about the number 3 a lot in a lot of the classes that I teach, because whenever you think of creation, for instance, a baby being born or a baby being made, usually it takes a father, it takes a mother, and the child for 3 to come into existence. So 3, and then you also have 3 is the Trinity, the Son, the God, and the Holy Spirit, if I got that right. And so 3 is a constant theme. Like there's always like these themes around in the world that is always like multiplying each other. And today we have 2 3s in the numerologies calendar of the Baha'i year. So I thought also I wanted to share with everyone that, the Bicentenary Meditation project, number 33, the meditation number 33, happens to be my absolute favorite. It has a lot to do with repetition, and it's particularly a yoga nidra, which is a sleep meditation where you lie down with this meditation and upright in symmetry of your body. And basically I go over every part of the body and I repeat Allahu Pa, Allahu Pa, Allahu Pa, Allahu Pa, Allahu Pa everywhere in the body, so that by the time you're done, your entire body is like vibrating with the sacred word ʻAlá'علاء. And I talk a little bit more in the meditation itself on what ʻAlá'علاء means in relation to Om, the sound of Om in yoga. So if that's something that you're interested in, I highly recommend that you go and listen to it. It is a daily meditation for me, like it's my naps. This is usually what I listen to when I take a nap so that I can really systematically transition into sleep. But ultimately for a yoga nidra, you want to stay awake, but it is a very deep relaxation that is close to sleep, but you're conscious of it rather than unconscious of it. So the first couple times when you do this, you might fall asleep. That's cool. Just let it happen. But if you are able to maintain awareness or consciousness throughout, then that would be ideal. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to share for today. So yeah, let's get started on the meditation. So sit up right in a comfortable posture. And we talked about in the previous days of our alignment in the body. Spine needs to be straight. Doesn't matter where the feet are. You can be sitting. I'm sitting on a bed right now. I usually like to sit on the floor, but you can also sit on a chair, or you could lie down and do this meditation. So feel free to listen to your body to see where it's at, and also depending on when you're listening to this. So yeah. So your hands can be palms facing upwards or facing downwards. And just relax into this posture, closing your eyes. And whenever you're watching the replay, please do feel free to write in the comments below #replay and share where you're from. It would be wonderful what the 4 qualities of your birth date are, and let me know whether or not you actually resonate with it. I would love to hear this, and hopefully someone in the group will know or share in the comment section below like how to actually calculate what your birth year is, because I don't know if there's a chart online somewhere where it actually states. There probably is, and if you do have that or know about it, please do link it in the comments below so that everyone can benefit from it. I think it would be really wonderful. Okay, closing our eyes, coming into this present moment. Taking our attention from the outside world back into the inside world. There's an entire universe that is there. And so just drawing the eyes inward can really help shine a light on many things. You might even notice as your attention moves inward, the tension in your body might just fall away. The tenseness in your neck, in your head, your headache maybe even, is when your mind is no longer going in a loop or on a gerbil wheel, that it is able to really calm down. So we're about to start our meditation for those who have recently joined. You're welcome to write in the comments below where you're from and say hi. And we're going to continue with today's day quality, which is Jamál, beauty. It is the 3rd day of the 19-day month. And we're going to use the integrative yoga therapy framework to cycle through throughout each of the different what beauty would look like in the body, in the energy system, with the mind and emotions, the witness layer, which is basically where in yoga it says 3 can. So disease can manifest in the physical body, the energetic body, and in the mental and emotional body. These are 3 from the yogic perspective. In the Baha'i writings, there's several quotes that say that when we have a physical illness, we need a physical treatment. And when it's something of the matter of the spirit, it requires a spiritual healing, which is prayer, for an example. So these two in yoga, when it's not possible to be inherently diseased, it can be veiled. There can be like coverings on this, so that we constantly need to lift the veils in order for us to be able to see more clearly the faculty of witnessing, of recognizing and awareness, and also to be able to serve our purpose on this planet, which I really think is very relevant to the 4 qualities of God that is in your birth year. I think that will give you a good gauge. So starting with the physical body, let's think about how Jamál, beauty, what is the spiritual quality of beauty look like in a physical sense. The previous 2 meditations, we talked about how to think about beauty in the form of attraction rather than seduction. So when we're thinking about beauty in the physical, what does that look like? With adorning ourselves with ornaments, or cleansing ourselves, like practicing cleanliness, different thoughts. So just like being with the spiritual quality of beauty and seeing how that relates to the body. And then moving on to the energy body, what does beauty look like on an energetic level? When we say that someone walked into a room and they just lit up the room, usually we're sensing and we're feeling the energy of the person, which extends 1.5 meter out of the body in a circular globe, sort of all around. So whenever someone walks into a room, it's usually, you're quite close. You're hitting that 1.5 meter. Or if you're face to face with one another and you like notice the other person's energy is, you just feel them. You like, this person has really good energy. And so what would beauty, if the spiritual quality of beauty look like on an energetic field? Like maybe even perhaps thinking if there's a certain color that you could imagine or associate that with. Do you see this energetic vibration or light in a particular color? Is there a color that comes to mind? Or what are some associative words that come up with beautiful energy? And then moving on to the mental and emotional layer, how does beauty reflect in the mental and emotional states? So in yoga, they call them states. We don't say that it's just like a definite final thing, because emotions are fleeting. But how does the spiritual quality of beauty, what would it look like in the mind and emotions? When I think of what the guardian said, Shoghi Effendi, in Lights of Guidance, and he prescribed when someone asked him, like, how do you cure mental illness, or what is the basis of it? He didn't comment so much on what the basis of it is or the reasoning behind it, to my knowledge. But he did say that for those who do suffer from mental illness, they should follow the laws of God ever more closely. So like meticulously follow them. And when if we were to think about beauty in the mind, what would that look like? Based on this quote by Shoghi Effendi, like what would the laws even look like? Maybe there might be some association with that. And like emotions, and what would beauty of emotions look like or feel like? What would a beautiful emotion sense? Feel, almost like feel it in your body right now. Moving on to the witness layer. So if beauty was in front of you and you were wholeheartedly like able to be objective, so you had no emotional attachment, no mental thought to it, what would you notice? I could also use the word see, like what would you see? What would you recognize? But even though sight is a sense of the body, but here we use the spiritual sight to look at beauty. What would your spiritual eye see? Maybe you can even jot down some thoughts and write it down to see how, what those thoughts would be like. And then moving on to bliss, the bliss body. In your work, in your workspace, in your purpose in life, how does beauty manifest itself? For artists, this might be a bit easy. They're like, I got this. I know how it shows up. But for others who might be doing other types of work, like accounting or law, where there's not much graphics or color or artistic expression, what is a spiritual? How does the spiritual quality of beauty manifest in those fields, in your practice of those fields? These might be some pointers to like help guide you think about them. So moving on to the weekday, which is ʻIdál, justice. It might be pronounced as ʻAdl. I should have checked with my parents with the pronunciation as I did yesterday for fazal, because it's written as fidal, but it's pronounced as fazal. So ʻIdál, I think, might be correct, but no, in tomorrow's meditation. So on justice. Justice, also the numerology is 3, the third day of the 7th day week. And let's move on to the first layer. So justice within the body. What does that mean? What? I don't know where it cut off, but we were on justice, on the physical body. And yeah. So thinking about justice, what does that look like in the physical form? I would say the Baha'i fast or fasting is an act of justice on the body. Definitely an act of justice. And really seeing what are the other different types of variations or implications that can be thought of in the physical body with justice. And then moving on to the energy body. What does justice look like within energy? Ooh, this is a good one. This is a very good one. So in yoga, a lot of the energy systems, the chakras, along the spine, there's 7 energy clusters, joints, that they all kind of like relate to one part of the 2 or 3 parts of the human life. So the root chakra is like the money, survival, and family. Second chakra is related to creativity of all kinds, physical, mental, and spiritual forms of creativity. Literally, you create is the center where a soul is created. The third chakra is for willpower. The heart chakra is for universal love. Throat chakra is for expression. Sixth chakra is for the inner eye. And the seventh chakra is kind of open to God, essentially. So the energy system along in yoga, and the whole reason why people do physical postures, is to maintain the health of the spine, which is where the chakras are, which is where the wheels of energy are centered in the body. So when we think about justice with energy, two things come to mind. One is the chakras. What does justice look like in each of the energy points? And you're welcome to look more into this. With Yoga Avec Moi, we have a mini chakra series, meditation series. If that's something that you're interested in, you're welcome to email me privately about it if you would like. Money is a form of energy exchange. So when we're thinking about money and justice, energy, movement, flow, what does justice look like in the energetics of financial flow? Several years ago, the Universal House of Justice wrote a letter asking the Baha'is to think more deeply about what Baha'i economy means. So when we think about, and I think justice is a central theme in the conversation of like Baha'i economy. So definitely using this time to actually deepen on that letter and really actually having a major discussion about that, I think is super important. So if you're just recently joining us, let us know in the comments below where you're from, where you're joining in. Would be wonderful to have your thoughts. And even if you're watching the replay, definitely do write in the comments. Like, people will watch this again, and we'll see. And so, moving to the mental and emotional layer. So justice, what does justice look like in the mental spheres and in the emotional spheres? So justice, as I mentioned in the beginning of the meditation, the group of people that I was concerned with this morning, those who would like to fast but are not able to fast. When it comes to the mental part, the thought forms, what would justice look like in the mind? Are those types of thought forms just? Are they kind? Kindness is not one of the spiritual qualities that we're working on today, but I really think that's one that we should always be working on ourselves, right? And about emotions, what would arise when you're thinking about justice in the emotional layer of the body? And moving on to the witness layer, if justice was outside of you and you were to witness it objectively, without emotions, devoid of thought, what do you think you would become aware of? What would you recognize? And then finally, in the bliss layer, in your career, in your purpose, what does justice look like in your purpose? That's an interesting one. What does it look like to have justice in your workspace? Many a times we do not receive justice or are able to contribute to justice in the workspace. We might even be experiencing that right now. So how would this spiritual quality look like in a work environment? So when I think about purpose of an individual being just, what does it look like when two people come together and their purposes are jointly important? What does justice look like when they both need to exercise their purpose? What is the justice in that? And then also extend that to the family. When you have multiple purposes, multiple people who are here to serve humanity in various different ways, how does one maintain the spiritual quality of justice in that family system? So these are all questions that you're welcome to reflect on in your mind and then write them down, or just do them mentally in your mind as I'm saying this. But to always write down your learnings and what you're sharing really concretizes, that's not a word, but makes it more concrete, from the invisible world of the mind to the visible world of paper. So definitely encourage you to deepen these ideas and these thoughts, and sometimes in the mind you'll be able to have some thoughts, and then later on in writing it will flow through. Talk a little bit more about this in yesterday's, in the day 2 of the Baha'i fast meditation. So I think that's it for today. I wanted to give a special shout out and thank you to Ray. I don't know who you are. I don't know if you are a man or a woman, which part of the world you're in, how old you are, or anything. But I did want to let you know, and actually, I would actually very much like to ask everyone who is watching this to thank Ray for really sending me some very sweet messages of encouragement to continue on with these meditations. He shared a lot of insightful reflections and thoughts, and I believe it's only just if we thank him, because he was a huge reason why I decided to continue doing this for the 19 days. Like, as I began, like, I did not know whether or not I was going to do the full 19 days, but honestly, if there's only just one person watching, I'm good. So I might even start calling these meditations Dear Ray, if he is the only one watching, or the only one expressing to me that he's watching. So yeah, I thought I would give a shout out to you, and please do write a sweet thank you note on my behalf in the comment section, because really it was Ray's encouragement that really allowed me to do this more consistently. So and I think this would be a really wonderful resource for years to come. So thank you so much, and I will close with that. Namaste to everyone. I hope you guys have a wonderful fast. Day 3, physically what's happening in the body, more junk and more toxicity is coming out, so be gentle with yourself. Mentally, so do some of the releasing techniques and practices that I gave in yesterday's practice, like an emotional cleansing technique. Depending on where you're watching this from, whether it's Facebook the Bicentenary Meditation page, the Yoga Avec Moi, the more people that we get together to talk about these things, the deeper we can all go with our shares. And something that came to mind today was that Yoga Avec Moi has been doing these Baha'i Fast series for like 4 years now. This is the 4th year that we're doing it. So there's a lot of material going back to 2018, 2019, 2010. 2018 we did the podcast, so we recorded sound audio. 2019 we wrote these long reflective newsletters. 2010 we were working on the Bicentenary Meditation project, which is our giant free meditation resource on the Baha'i sacred writings. We commemorated the bicentenary of the birth of the Bab, coincided with that. It's still ongoing. We still have about 30 meditations that we need. So if that's something that you would love to help out with, please do reach out and record a couple of meditations. We're trying to have all of them done by the end of Nowruz. So yeah, I did want to let everyone know that. There's one more thing. If I remember it, I will leave it in the comments below. So everything that I mentioned, please do check the comments below of whatever platform you're reading this on. There will be links to other things where you can go and check out the other newsletters and resources. Oh, the main thing that I wanted to share was I wanted to ask everyone whether or not anyone would be interested in next year potentially to like combine all these 4 years of material into like an online course of some kind that we could all do together and like maybe go through each day together. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that. I certainly would die if I sat together with people from all around the world to really go deep on the Baha'i fast for those who would like to in this manner. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if like an online course for the Baha'i fast for 2000 Avec Moi's newsletter, which is on the website www.yogaavecmoi.com/subscribe. Get on the newsletter. If I ever do make a course like this, I will be announcing it there. So that's always a good place to be informed of all of Yoga Avec Moi's activity, whether it's the Bicentenary Meditation Project, the Baha'i Fast, other yoga stuff that we do, and services and yoga therapy, and YouTube channel, new YouTube videos. So yeah, wonderful to be with you all today. I hope you guys have a wonderful fast, and I'll see you tomorrow.